Part 1. The Little Lane with Big Dreams. In a sleepy town surrounded by fields of sunflowers and mango orchards, lived a boy named Ayun. His world was small, just a narrow lane of 10 houses, a dusty cricket ground, and the cool shade of a huge banyan tree. But to him, it was magical. Every corner had a memory. Every sound was a melody of his childhood. He would wake up to the smell of his mother's parathas and the sound of roosters crowing. The old transistor played classic songs while his grandmother sipped chai and told stories of her youth. Life was simple. Life was golden. Part 2. Days of play and endless imagination. Ayan's best friends were Raza, Samia, and the neighbor's mischievous goat, Chiku. Together they built forts from cardboard boxes, pretended to be explorers, and turned puddles into oceans. The alley was their kingdom, and laughter was their language. They played cricket with broken stumps, cycled through muddy paths during monsoon rains, and chased kites in the blazing summer sun. The days ended with sticky mangoes, scraped knees, and stories whispered under a sky full of stars. There were no phones, no screens, just hearts full of wonder and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. Part 3. The lessons we didn't know we were learning. Childhood wasn't just about games. It was where life's first lessons were silently learned. Ayan learned how to share his lunch when someone forgot theirs, how to comfort a crying friend, how to be brave after falling, and how to say sorry after a fight. Festivals were the brightest moments. Eid meant new clothes, gifts from elders, and roaming the streets with pockets full of coins. Holi meant color fights and sweets. Independence Day brought handmade flags and school speeches. Every little tradition, every tiny ritual became a memory stitched into the fabric of his heart. Part 4. Growing up and looking back. As years passed, Ayan's lane changed. Friends moved away. The banyan tree was cut down. The ground turned into a shopping complex. Even Chiku the goat was just a story now. Ayan moved to a big city, working in a fast-paced world of deadlines and noise. But sometimes on quiet nights, he would close his eyes and find himself back in that sunlit lane. He could hear Raza's laughter, Samia's shouting, and his mother calling him in for lunch. The child within him was still alive, whispering, smiling, remembering. Finale. The timeless treasure of childhood. Ayan often said, Part 5. Revisiting the past. A journey back home. One rainy day after many years, Ayan finally returned to his hometown. The streets were narrower than he remembered, and the houses looked older. Yet something deep inside him felt complete. He walked down his childhood lane, now paved and lined with new buildings. But as he reached the end, he found the old iron gate of his house still standing, rusted but proud. The house looked quiet. A neighbor recognized him and smiled. Ayan, you've grown, but your eyes are still the same. He visited the old cricket ground, now a parking lot, and placed his hand on the soil. He remembered his first sixer, the cheer of his friends, the innocence of those days. Part 6. Finding childhood in small moments. Inside his old house, Ayan opened the dusty trunk under the stairs. It was still there, his childhood box. Inside were his old notebooks, a broken toy truck, a paper kite, a drawing of his family, and a letter his mother had written when he turned 10. His eyes welled up. He sat down on the floor and let the memories flow freely. His father's strong arms lifting him up, his mother's bedtime stories, the warmth of his grandma's shawl. He realized that childhood was never lost. It was stored inside tiny things, a scent, a song, a place, a voice. Part 7. The return with a purpose. That visit changed something in Ayan. He didn't just leave with memories. He left with a purpose. He began writing stories of childhood, turning his memories into books for children who had never known such joy. He built a small library in his village, filled with tales of magic, friendship, and childhood wonders. He started a yearly festival in his town, Bakpan Utsav, a celebration of innocence, play, and storytelling. Laughter once again echoed through the streets. Children ran freely, kites filled the sky, and old stories found new voices. As Ayan stood in the middle of his childhood street, Listening to the laughter of children playing, he smiled with tears in his eyes. The world had changed, and so had he, but the memories remained untouched. He realized that while we grow older, our childhood never truly leaves us. It lives in our hearts, in old songs, the smell of rain, the taste of mangoes, and the sound of a mother calling her child home. Ayan promised himself to protect those memories, to share them, and to help every child create beautiful moments of their own. More memories of childhood, a heartfelt glimpse. Childhood is made up of 1,000 little moments, each one simple, yet unforgettable. For Ayan, the memories came in waves. The rainy day adventures. Rainy days were never dull. When the monsoon clouds arrived, Ayan and his friends would rush outside, barefoot, dancing in the mud, letting raindrops wash over their faces. Paper boats floated through street puddles, racing one another, cheered on by giggles and wild laughter. His mother would yell, "Ayan, you'll catch a cold." But he knew that warm towel, dry clothes, and a plate of pakoras were waiting for him afterward, his reward for a monsoon adventure. The warmth of a mother's lap. On cold winter nights, Ayan would curl up in his mother's lap under a thick quilt. She would gently stroke his hair, humming lullabies or telling bedtime stories about brave princes, clever animals, and distant lands. He never realized back then that warmth wasn't just from the blanket, but from unconditional love. School bag and morning rush. Each morning began with a scramble, tying shoelaces, checking if the homework was done, sipping half a cup of milk, and running after the school van. His school bag seemed heavier than his worries today, but it carried the hopes of curious questions and innocent answers. The best part of school? The lunch break, sharing food with friends, secretly eating chocolates in class, and passing notes folded like mini airplanes. The festival fever. Festivals lit up childhood like nothing else. Ayan would help decorate the house with colorful lights, hang paper stars, and wait eagerly for his turn to light sparklers. The joy of receiving Eid or sweets, dressing up in new clothes, and visiting relatives, these little traditions became the backbone of his happiest memories. The first bicycling victory. He remembered the first time he rode a bicycle without falling. His father ran behind him, holding the seat, and then suddenly let go. Ayan didn't realize he was riding solo until he heard his dad cheering from behind. That moment, the wind in his face, the wobble, the pride, felt like the first taste of independence. Nostalgic smells and sounds. Even now, as an adult, the smell of biryani or the chirping of crickets at night would pull Ayan back to those days. The creak of the swing in the old park, the jingle of the ice cream cart, the school bell ringing, it all lived inside him. The heart of the story childhood is not just a phase, it's a foundation. It's where we learn love, trust, friendship, courage, and dreams. It is painted with the softest colors and brightest lights. We may outgrow our clothes, but never those memories.